If you're new at this, if you're just starting out, you're maybe young, you're in your teens or 20s, whatever, you haven't done a lot of job interviews and you just want to get a basic idea of what questions I'll be asked. You know what? Let's do this together. Let's do that. I'm going to use the voice interface on ChatGPT. Hopefully this works without screwing up my entire computer. Let's see. Okay, you guys can still hear me? Okay, great. Okay, so for a job interview, what can I expect? What questions will I probably be asked? And what will I be expected to do? Let's see what answer ChatGPT gives you. Okay, so if you're just starting out, maybe you could do something like this and this would help. Okay, so let's see what it says. Okay, so it gives you an idea of like the structure of it. Okay. Most common questions. Okay, tell me about yourself. Why do you want to work here? About a time you faced a challenge. Describe the time you showed leadership. What's your greatest weakness? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Okay, so these are some of the common interview questions. So that's a common question. That's a common question. That's one of the biggest trick questions there is. This is a common question, okay? And this is a common question, although you can get it phrased in different ways. So they can ask you, instead of like, why do you want to work here? They could say, why should we hire you? Something like that, right? Basically, this is the strengths question. They're asking you about your strength. What can you bring? Why do you think we should pick you instead of somebody else? Okay, now the other two questions in between, these ones here, tell me about a time you did this and describe a time you did. Those are called behavioral questions. That's where you answer with a personalized story from your past. So behavioral questions are something that's common in a job interview. So you also need to know how to answer behavioral questions. So you've got about 10 standard job interview questions that are the common cliched questions you can always expect. And then on top of that, you're going to have to answer behavioral questions. You cannot prepare for those questions in the same way because there is an infinite number of those kind of questions. So you have to go about it differently. You can read the answer, but I'd encourage you to do this kind of thing. So what should you do? Research the company, all this, learn about the STAR format. So you can do basic things like this. You could get it to help you with individual questions. It gives you sort of standard generic answers. You might want to go a bit above and beyond that, especially if you're not at the sort of entry level. If you're like a little bit above entry level, you might want to learn more sophisticated answers to a lot of these questions. But that's how I would use it to prepare for an interview if I was just starting out. Now, you don't need to do any of that. You could do what anyone would do to prepare. You do 2 phases. Number 1 is you figure out what your answers are going to be to all the standard questions, and then the behavioral questions, and then memorize it. That's the first step. The second step is then to rehearse with somebody else. A lot of people skip that step and then they end up not doing very well. Grab a friend or family member, like just anyone loafing around, get them to do this with you. Say, we're gonna role play here. You're gonna help me out. You're gonna pretend to be an interviewer and you're gonna interview me. I'm gonna give you a list of questions, or you go on the internet, whatever, you write your own questions, and we're gonna do this like it's serious, and it's gonna be practice for me. And if it feels weird, that's good, because that's simulating how it's gonna feel when you do an actual job interview. You're gonna be on somebody else's turf, out of your comfort zone. You're gonna be a bit nervous. You got people staring at you. But it's okay, because with a little bit of rehearsal, you can learn how to perform very well under those conditions. But this is how you do it. You practice with somebody else. So like what I'd recommend is, say for 10 days. So that's Monday to Friday for 2 weeks, 10 days. Each day you do 3 to 4 practice interviews, mock interviews with a friend or family member, just different people. That means you've done 30 to 40 mock interviews. You will feel so confident. You'll know your answers backwards and forwards. You won't be flustered by, getting nervous or anything like that. You'll be able to appear confident, and every answer you're giving is genuine, not like a rehearsed kind of formula that you're giving. So that's what I'd recommend you do. And AI can definitely be a part of that, especially when you're starting out. So hopefully that makes sense. Marius says, is it a good idea to let it interview you? Sure, yeah, it knows basic answers. But once again, you know how a moment ago I was recommending you interview with multiple people, right? Like that's the idea. To practice, you would interview with multiple people, right? that also applies to AI, like, to ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whatever tool you use, Grok. You know what I'm saying? Like, it might have sort of an opinion, which is great. Now, ChatGPT, what I do know about it is that something that's been built into it is for it to try and be agreeable. The company that makes ChatGPT, for example, OpenAI, they want people to use their product. So they want people to have a good experience using their product. So they make it very friendly and it tends to agree with you. It doesn't just blindly agree with you no matter what you say, but it tends to try and agree with you whenever it can and be very positive, because that gives people a good experience and they want to use it more, right? So the problem is, maybe when you use it to ask you questions and stuff, it'll say, oh, great answer, and it'll always look on the bright side, when maybe that is not necessarily the best attitude you should have if you're trying to refine your skills and your answers and do better, like improve. Is it a good idea to let it interview? I would say it's something you could try. There's nothing wrong in trying it. It will be able to teach you something. Whether that will be the only thing you need to do, I'm a bit more skeptical about, but it's not a bad idea to do this exercise with it. Okay, so we're in a job interview. Let's role play. And you asked me the question, tell me about yourself. And here's my answer. Well, I'm a fine, upstanding person, and I like talking to people. Is that a good answer? Let's just see what it says, It's charming, but no, that's not a good answer. Let's break down why, and I'll show you how to fix it. You see? So it's not a stupid idea. You could learn a lot from this thing. So it tells you what's wrong with yours, what they actually want, right? Who you are, what you're good at, why you're here now, stuff like that. Okay. So it can give you an answer. Now, as I say, I think for somebody that's just starting out, this is a no-brainer. You would definitely do this. For more sophisticated people at slightly higher levels, I'm not convinced yet. It's very valuable, very useful, but it tends to give out sort of generic, average, middling kind of answers. Not bad, but not super, super sophisticated. That's where AI is right now, by the way. If you're looking for a generic thing that's kind of but pretty good, it'll give you that. If you're looking for something fantastic and original, it's got an edge to it, no. Not yet. Maybe in the future.